morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. In today's episode, we're going to go over some books that I've been reading. We're going to go over some things that I received in the mail. And we're going to talk about a possible itch.io one-page RPG submission that I am working on. I've got a couple ideas that I'm brewing up, and we will see what or if something I'm working on gets submitted. I bought a webcam on Amazon Prime days, and so I'm currently testing this out. When I made my cartograph video, I used my phone to record, and it was a big hassle of getting it from my phone to my computer. And so if I can get it all integrated in one go, that would be amazing. So I am testing out what I would call the Ben Milton book review layout, because this is very similar to what he has. But I already know it's a little shaky. My webcam is attached to the table, so I will be aware of that while I record. It is all a test in progress. All right. My daughter is 7 years old, and she is in tumbling. And not that I don't love watching her progress and get better, because I do, but there's a good opportunity there for me to do some reading while I watch. And so I pluck this off my shelf, and I don't know how frequently I have brought up White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game, labeled as OSR from Seattle Hill Games. However, the author is Charlie Mason. There's a couple different covers you can get for this. There's one I'll show you here in a little bit that's got a dragon on it. There's this old school black and white one, which I can't remember if I picked it or that's just the one that I got. But there's that. And then there's another one, which I don't quite remember. I'll see if I can maybe find that. But it is just ridiculous. This book is over 100 pages, 144 pages. Came out in 2017. And it is only $4.55. Maybe someday I'll go on a deep dive, make a whole episode on White Box. But just trust me. Go buy White Box for $4.55. That has to be the printing cost for this. They can't be making any money on this. 4.7 stars out of 1,000 reviews. I bought it April 4th of 2023. It's just awesome. Now, I'm sure PDF look and layout would be better than this webcam system, but I just want to try this out. So if it's terrible, well, then I know. All right, White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game with old school art. I love this little intro here. They said, hey, I just wanted to make a little shorter version of Swords and Wizardry. Started on Microsoft Word, and then it snowballed into this table of contents that you see here. There are classes: cleric, fighter, magic user, and I believe it is an optional thief, which harkens back to old school D&D. There are 3 races: the dwarf, the elf, the halfling. We'll get into a couple other things here. But again, just for $4.55, go buy this. Here's a little look at the character sheet. Class, level, race. The stats are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're your standard D20 Dungeons and Dragons stats or attributes, I guess I should say. We'll just go over this first one here, the Cleric. What I really like about it, this whole game. Okay, what are clerics? 2 paragraphs here. It's kind of like what they are, and then kind of why you would want to play one. Here it says they, as in clerics. However, clerics are able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the party's fighter if needed, at least for a while. Clerics must be either lawful good or chaotic evil. Since many of the cleric's abilities are oriented towards healing and protecting, they tend to play a support role during combat. So I guess I should rephrase this to what they are and why you would want to play them. Okay. Right at the bottom of this page, their abilities, weapons and armor restrictions, spell casting, their saving throw. We turn the page. Here we keep listing on their abilities. They can turn undead. They can establish a temple. They do that at 10th level. Looking at the tables we have up here, they go up to 10th level. And the experience points needed, the hit dice, how many spells you get. This turn undead chart, at what level you can turn these things to be undead. And is that it, or is there one more? And that's it. Okay, so you have everything you need for a cleric in 1, 2, 3 pages. From the OSR perspective, from the rules light perspective, amazing. Again, there's the fighter, there's the magic user, and the optional thief. Let's go to the general rules. Well, it plays like normal D&D. You roll your D20, you add your bonus, and you try to beat a number. Initiative, attack roll. Okay, let's go read attack roll. Just give you some sense of how this works. To attack with a weapon, the player rolls a d20 and adds any bonuses to the result. These 2 hit bonuses may include a strength bonus, a dexterity bonus, and any bonuses for magic weapons. The player then subtracts any 2 hit penalties they might have from their roll. One thing to point out is, for you old school gamers, there is descending and ascending armor class. I still haven't quite figured out descending armor class. THAC0 to hit armor class 0. People say it's really easy. It's just, to me, not intuitive. If I spent some more time on it, I'm sure I could probably figure it out. Ascended AC, quick method. But back to combat. The attack roll is then compared to the table to see if the attack hits. Okay, so that's for descending armor class. You got to check this chart, which to me just doesn't make any sense. Damage and death. When a character or creature is hit, the amount of damage is taken. The amount of damage taken is deducted from his hit points. When the hit points reach 0, the character dies. Welcome to the OSR. Let's go jump to spells. Again, this is not a deep dive. This is me just excited to talk about this great system. Starting on page 45. We've got spells and magic. Here is the cleric spells. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. Magic user spells, they have different. Those are the only 2 magic users. They give you the list, and then they give you the descriptions after that. Give you range, duration, and specifics for the damage that they do. Let's go jump to monsters, page 81. And let's just randomly pick. Let's see, is there a dragon? There sure is. I think there's a big description on dragons. Yeah, okay. Dragons gives you more details about them, but let's just randomly pick this one that I saw first. All right. A green dragon. Their armor class is 17. Their hit dice is 7 to 9, which I think is 7 to 9 d6. They do 2d6 worth of damage. They breathe poisonous gas. They can move 12 and 24 when flying. And then, if I remember correctly, so this hit dice is 7, 8, and 9. You can kind of sort of pick. And then this hit dice equivalent, I think that's what it stands for. I could be wrong. But they give you different degrees of the monster. Is it like a easy green dragon, medium green dragon, or hard green dragon? And then you can give out XP according to how difficult they were. Green dragons breathe a cloud of poisonous gas that is 50 feet in diameter. A successful saving throw indicates half damage. Okay. And I could go on and on and on. Like I said, I might go on a deep dive. Here's a bigger look at the character sheet. $4.55 for an entire game system. That is just insane. Go check it out. All right. This one, I was trying to draw some inspiration for the one-page RPG coming up, and that's Cairn. I talk about it rather frequently. Here's an entire game system that you can buy on Amazon, I think for $2, $3. It's even cheaper than the white box. The rules fit all on one page. Here's a rules summary. Here's a look at the character sheet. So simple. This only uses 3 stats: strength, dexterity, and willpower. I don't know who started first with these 100 level-less spells, if it was Cairn or Knave or something else, but I love that setup. How many pages is it? Like 20. It looks like it stops at around 20, but it goes to about 25 pages. I can't speak high enough praises for Cairn. Go check it out. It was something that I was reading up on. I like it because it's a roll under system. The rules again fit on one page. It's awesome. Okay. Next one I've talked about before, but I finally got it in my possession. My camera shake here is pretty bad. I apologize. Lucas Fulks by Blackfish Publishing, Heroes of Cerulean. Pixelated dungeon crawl RPG. This one is a little smaller than I had wanted, but let's just talk about the details here. Now, I bought the basic set. This was, I think, on Kickstarter, and I'm far from a Kickstarter expert, but I backed it after the Kickstart, and I kind of never got any updates about it. I'd have to go actually go to Kickstarter to get the updates. But I got the basic version. They had a premium version. I want to say this was with shipping, maybe about $35, $40. And again, for, what you get, I thought that was, as much as I was willing to pay for it. But the premium version, much like the Nintendo's Legend of Zelda, was, instead of gray, it was shiny gold foil. And it came in a gold foil slipcase, which was super cool. But that would have been another, I don't know, $20, $30. And like most things, I'm kicking myself what's $20, $30, right? But, you have all these things and they add up. And so that was my justification. But it is pretty cool. I think you can see here, it has the ridges of a Nintendo game. And if I can get it just right, if on an old school Nintendo game, it has the little tab. And it may be something small and it literally has nothing to do with the game. But they carried the tab over. I don't think you can really see it. Yeah, maybe you can. But it's kind of like you were inserting a Nintendo game into the Nintendo. I think that's really cool. Also comes with a ribbon. I mean, nice touch. I love that. But I will say that the quality of printing on this is phenomenal. Maybe the best printed book I own. And so while you may not get the quantity, you are certainly getting quality on this. This looks just like old school Nintendo, pixelated, right out of Legend of Zelda map. I just absolutely love it. High gloss pages. It's got the Triforce. I mean, how can you say you're Zelda without saying you're Zelda, right? The art on this here, trying to get not a glare. Just, I love it. Rules. The rules are super simple. It uses a D4. If you are skilled in something, you roll 3d4. Average, you roll 2d4, and I think bad, you roll 1d4. And you count successes. If you get a 3, you are successful, but you lose a heart. If you are 4, you are successful. If you get 2 4s, you are successful, and you get some sort of bonus, some other successful action. That is action outcomes right here. My children and I used this in a modified version of another Zelda RPG, Heroes of the Overworld. But this art right here, I just absolutely love it. If you end up getting a piece of the Triforce, your characters get to re-roll a roll once per day. So if you have all 3 pieces of the Triforce, then you get 3 re-rolls per day. Here's what the character sheet looks like. I will give it just a little knock in that it's 100% totally serviceable, but it's very plain. I would have loved to have seen like scroll work or like branches, something nature related on here. Instead, it's just basically black and white. That's it for the players. 15 pages of stuff for the players, and then it's to the game master. Inside here, they give you random tables. Here's the monster manual. These things are all out of the Zelda universe. You can create your own boss. You can create items that the bosses drop. Let's jump to... All right, here we go. I like the ribbon here. With it being really glossy, it might be hard to see. Okay, there we go. If I tip it up a little bit. Oh, then it gets shaky. All right. Here is the Lake Tower. In Paragon Lake, sea monsters are attacking boats and scaring away fishermen. The monster's lair lies inside a mysterious building that recently rose from the depths. Can the heroes cleanse the Lake of Evil? They give you a real basic layout. They give you descriptions of everything that's in the room. Different floors. That was first floor. Here's second floor. Here's what the boss looks like. Well, this is boss. This must just be mini boss and actual boss. Gives you a layout of the room, all of their stats. And there you go. Cavern of Flame. They just nailed the aesthetic on this. It's great. Now I don't want to get confused with Heroes of Cerulean and Heroes of the Overworld. I think I'm getting that name wrong, but they both have things outside of just the books. When I backed this, there was a bunch of stretch goals, and they give you other dungeons, other resources, how to play solo, and they are like, I'm just using my hand here, they're like half a page here in height, and they are like sized and shaped to be reminiscent of old school Nintendo manuals. They were only like this big. They didn't the boxes for the video games were about this big, but the manuals were only this big, and it's just super cool. But here we have Cerulean Citadel, and this would be like Ganon's Tower. I'll just jump to the end here. This is massive. Once you get all the pieces of the Triforce, then I believe this becomes available, and then there he is, the throne room. Foolish mortals, you are no match for the Shadow King. Prepare to die. I love it. I can't say enough great things about Heroes of Cerulean. It's awesome. Little damage there. It's okay. I'll cut him some slack. But go check this out if you're looking for 8-bit pixelated fun game. I will say one base mechanic of this is if your players die, they just respawn at the beginning of the dungeon. I believe they get to keep all the items that they find, but all of the monsters respawn. Let's see. If you fall into a pit, you lose 1 heart. After 1 round, you automatically return to where you fell from. Okay, very video gamey. When you fall into lava, stunned. Well, just know that I'm right on that. When you die, you go back to the beginning of the dungeon. So, super cool, amazing. Check it out. All right, this next one, pardon my reach here. I should have grabbed it earlier. This just came in today, and this is what made me excited to want to do an episode. Along the lines, not Cole Wilkinson's Along the Ley Line, but along the lines of video game role-playing games, Break physically came in. Now, I've already done an episode on it, and I said I'm super excited to play this. However, not super excited to run this. And let me explain why with this visual. Holy bananas. Look how thick, as my students would say, this book is compared to Heroes of Cerulean, compared to Cairn, compared to White Box. I mean, yikes. I forget what I paid for this. I want to say $45. And with shipping, it was maybe $50, $55. But, I mean, wow. Wowza. Opens up. Very basic, but I love the aesthetic. This just excites me. I'm not saying this to brag whatsoever, but I think it's cool. Core Rules, version 1.0, first printing. As a Kickstarter backer, I appreciate that. I want to sit down and definitely go over this again. I've mentioned before that when it comes to reading games, having the physical copies in my hand are very helpful to me. Go check out my episode on Break. I go over the PDF for everything. But I do want to just go over one thing, maybe two, if I can find it. I want to look up vehicles. Okay, we have mounts. I'm hoping it's kind of like in alphabetical order, but that wouldn't make sense. Fight, perils, downtime. Wasting your time. But if I sing a song, it can't be that bad. Explore. All right, well, let's. I'm sure it's right in front of me, and somebody's pausing it. Like, it's right there, dummy. Let's jump to page 191. Oh my God, this is so much going on. 191 mounts. We've got a Jumbug. We have a Moko Do, which I believe is like a chocobo. Rokodo, Largzard, Shaggy Bumpo, a Grubbish. Oh yeah, let's get this in frame. This is why I bought this book. This is like pulling out Paladin's Quest from Super Nintendo. The artwork on this is it matches the aesthetic I was wanting. I love it. Oh, vehicles. Okay, I found it. I had found it earlier, but it when I first cracked it open, 196 vehicles. Okay, there it is. Okay, I want to just peruse this myself because on the very, 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 very back burner of the things that I'm casually working on is a Twisted Metal role-playing game, and I want to just kind of like, get inspired. How do they do this here? So get on my trusty pointer here. Vehicles. Mounts won't be able to traverse some of the outer world's most hostile terrain or cover large tracts of lands or sea without pause. For these occasions, you'll require a vehicle. Oh yeah, vehicle combat. Okay, here we go. Crewing. To control a vehicle without penalty, you need the stated number of personnel. So, let's see, do they have pictures here? They sure do. Let's go with a Cloud Breaker. To pilot a Cloud Breaker, you need one pilot and one assistant. Interesting. Do they have a huge flying machine? Not that I see. Fuel. Each vehicle requires energy to move. This could come from your direct physical effort, harnessing an abundant natural resource, or using a fuel or a spell engine. Unless the vehicle is PC powered, you avoid fatigue if you rush. Page 229 on a journey. Okay. Don't know what that means. I mean, there's 5,000 pages of content here. All right, fighting with vehicles. Last thing I'll probably go over. Fights can take place on, against, and between vehicles. Battlefield. Vehicles described as a battlefield during a fight. Your GM will divide a vehicle into specific battlefield areas and apply any appropriate area conditions. For example, the cockpit of a walker, page 198. A walker. There's no H there. I put an H in walker. For example, the cockpit of a walker might be one area that is sheltered and cramped, and the walker's limbs might be represented by another battlefield area. Okay. Damaging vehicles. Attempting to damage a vehicle is covered by the Sundering rules on page 263. For example, a walker's cockpit is made of metal, very hard, so it would have a defense rating of 18, and it is roughly the size of a cart, which would give it 12 hearts. Oh. Yes, this sounds Twisted Metal-like. Your GM might rule that some craft are too large to destroy completely with normal attacks. Battle maneuvers. During a fight, changing the direction or speed of a vehicle requires the entire crew to use their action. Interesting. Let's go to page 263 to look at the Sundering rules. 263. This book is gorgeous. Sundering. You can attack inanimate objects in order to break them or stop them from functioning. For example, breaking down a door or severing shackles that bind an ally. So here it gives you just how hard it is. Size determines hearts. Oh, look at this art. Colossal combat. Oh yeah, this is like fighting like a titan. Oh yeah. Oh, the art on this. This is a beautiful book. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know what it would cost to buy now or where you'd even buy it. Breakrpg.com, I guess go there and check it out. Gray Wizard Press. Gray is the main dude that authored this. From what I remember, it was like 10 years in the making, something like that. And I mean, I would say they stuck the landing. Love it. Oh, shaky cam. All right, last thing to go over. I want to do an episode on this sooner rather than later. But this is Home Mech, and then even if it has an X here, I would call this Versus. Mech versus Kaiju map making RPG. I know I talked about this in some episode. It's a nice little pamphlet. Build a mech, map the unknown, fight the kaiju, save your home. Play solo or up to 4 players. No game master, everyone builds the world. No prep needed, great for one-shots. No experience necessary, anyone can play. I think I had mentioned at the time that I don't have any mech type games, and so that kind of intrigued me. Nice high gloss zine here. I love the aesthetic. It's very simple. I'll give you a good look at these here. So here are the mechs that you can control, and I'll be honest, I don't know if you can create your own. I imagine you can, because right here it says create your mech. So these just might be pre-made characters or pre-made mechs. Here they have playbook. So this is Royal. This is Engineer. We have Enforcer, Ethereal, Outrider, Console, and are those the last ones? I think so. I can't even speak too intelligently on this. I've not read through everything, but this is on the short list of games to check out. But well done, Nick Gralwix. Hopefully I said that correctly. Okay, we're going to transition away from the webcam, and I'm going to go and talk about the itch.io one-page 2024 submissions. All right, this is itch.io's one-page RPG jam for 2024. And I've been vaguely familiar with this over the last couple of years, but I never really had any interest in making a submission. But I think this year I do. A classic problem I have in the things that I design is it's just too much going on. And so I really want to find a really clean, streamlined, elegant way to have some sort of a creative game. And in the two examples I'll show you, what I have in the works are not that at all. So, okay, one-page RPG jam returns for its 5th year running. This jam is about making new one-page tabletop role-playing games. Entire rule-light role-playing systems and settings on single sheets of paper. One-page RPGs are easy to pick up and learn, but that doesn't mean there can't be emergent complexity or that they can't result in excellent games. Restriction breeds creativity. I agree with that 100%. Restriction breeds creativity. The only limit is the imagination of the designers and the players. So here are the rules. Submissions must be a fully playable RPG system on a single page. Back pages and separate character sheets are allowed. Submissions must be made during the jam period specifically for the jam. No old games reposted. Hacks of other systems are fine, Lasers and Feelings, Honey Heist, but be sure to credit where necessary. Multiple submissions are encouraged. Games can be released as free, pay what you want, or with a price tag. If you're charging for the game, please send me a copy so I can review for content which breaks the rules and consider adding community copies. Label explicit or graphic content. Consider using or referencing safety tools such as the X card. No hate speech or bigotry, nothing that breaks itch.io terms of service or local law. Be cool. Visit the community tab for a list of some resources. Okay, I'll check that out. For examples of one-page RPGs, check out the submissions to last year's to get inspired. There's also a selection of optional badges you can put on your game or branding to identify it as a submission to the jam. So maybe I'll do that. And so here are submissions. I don't know if these are from last year or... Well, it says 2024 here. So 162 entries. And just before recording, I clicked on this, so I didn't know that these... I didn't know that these existed. And so maybe I'll check some of these out before moving forward. But again, I want just something really, really simple. If I can quickly find this. What do I have here? Nope. I'm not on my main browser. But in my episode about fun and future games, it was the rock, paper, scissors system. There was the one with shoot, I can't even think of the name, but total waste of your time on that one. But I want something light, something simple. These thumbnails I really like a lot. I feel like once I have something in place, I could totally do something. I could probably do a 2000 or 20XX. I don't know how you pronounce this. Setting Deja Dummy with Weird Al. Weird Al is stuck in a time loop. Can you help? That's amazing. Okay, so I want to check all of these out because I'm just addicted to the hobby, right? So let me show you what I've got. Okay, this was let me back up. My initial thing I wanted was I was going to call it Stamina. And when you start out your game, start out your character, you can literally do anything you want, but it costs either 1 stamina, a d6 of stamina, something. You have a pool of points, and it's this pool that represents everything you can do. And then my brain just got thinking okay, well, is it points to block? How do we level up? Does that increase your base points? And I just going on and on and on and on. And I still want to circle back to that. I want something really, really simple. But this is what I came up with. And just looking at this, it's just so many words. But at the core of it is you have a stat: strength, agility, body, intelligence, and spirit. And to start these out, character creation, you roll a d4 for each stat. Here I have class bonuses, but we'll get into that maybe later. Your stats are a d4, so it could be anywhere from 1 to 4. And then anytime you want to do a task, you have to then roll a difficulty dice. So and the goal is to roll under your stat, equal to or under your stat, to be successful. And so to me, that made sense. And it still kind of does. But then I just got into like okay, you want to cast spells. Like, how does spells work? Blocking. I want you to be able to block. How does blocking work? But at its core is okay. I'll zoom in on this here. The difficulty dice is the core of the game. If players want to do something that is labeled as easy, they have to roll a d6 and hope it is under their stat. So even at, like, let's just say a level 1 character, you want to punch a dragon in the face. All right. Your stat is a 2 for strength. Sure. But that sounds like a pretty epic thing to do. So roll a d20, and if you can make it work, if you can roll a 1 or a 2, you can certainly punch this dragon in the face. The odds are not in your favor, but it can be done. Okay? Somebody already might be thinking, well, Heath, what if your stat is a 10 and the difficulty dice is an 8? It's whatever they're trying to do is moderately tricky. Well, they automatically succeed at it. There's no need to roll. They automatically succeed. You might be thinking, well, that seems kind of broken. Well, I think they've leveled up enough that they've shown and earned the ability that they can do simple tasks. However, pulling from my stamina, my initial vision, anytime a player wants to do something, they have to lose a stamina point. For this version, they have to lose a skill point. So that's why I have current and max. So your characters have leveled up, and let's say they are now at a strength of 8. Okay? And they want to do something hard. They have to roll a d12, and they have to roll under their 8 for the d12. Okay? So they do it. Let's come up with a scenario. They want to disarm a trap. Okay? Well, that would be agility. Okay, so their agility is an 8, but it's a tricky. Well, I can't use tricky because that's a d10. It's hard. It's a hard trap. Okay, so their current agility is at 8. They roll a d12. If they're successful, then they're successful. So they succeed. If they're not successful, well, because they used up some energy, they are maybe mentally defeated a little bit. It's going to cost them a point. So now their current agility is at 7. The next time they want to do something, it's going to be that much harder to do. I have here in my notes that they can't just spam something over and over again. They have to, in some way, shape, or form, change the situation in order to re-roll disarming the trap. So talking this out loud, I feel like I can get there. I just need to like realize that I don't have to explain everything. Like, let's look in here. Blocking. You're in combat and you want to block. Okay? You must be holding a shield. Your role, the GM will tell you the role. So let's say an orc is attacking you, because an orc is, more powerful than a goblin. Maybe you have to roll a d8. So you have to roll a d8 against your body. Body is like incoming damage. So you have to roll equal to or less than your body for blocking. Deal X damage to body. All right, well, what is X? Well, X is weapon damage coming in from the D8. Are you confused? You probably are. So, must be holding a shield. You have to roll equal to or less than your body for blocking. And you deal X damage to your body. Well, like, shouldn't that just be you block all of it? So I guess maybe I just didn't Roll is equal to or less than you receive 0 damage. Roll greater than body. Take damage rolled. Okay, see, look, now we're off the page. We're getting too wordy. I don't think the layout is great on this. If I wanted to be super boring, I could just make it a literal, just one page wall of text, which I mean, it kind of sort of is. But I think I have something here with the difficulty dice. It's just how much do I want to explain? And so I got to find a way to condense the words. And as they said in the itch.io explanation here, restriction breeds creativity. And I agree 100,000% with that. So that's a challenge. When I'm done recording, that's something I'm going to work on. I've got something here, something easy to pick up. You roll your stats, and then the GM just tells you what difficulty die to roll when you want to do something, and that's the system. Super easy to understand, and it kind of inspired by Cole Wilkinson's Along the Ley Line with step dice that he uses. Another thing to mention is when you fail, when you roll over a stat, then you earn an FF point, a fail forward point. You learn from your mistakes. When you earn 3 fail forward points, you can then cash them in to up your stat. Do I have something else here? Skills. Also, I should mention when you have 2 stats become 0, you die. When 1 stat equals 0, you can no longer use that stat, which kind of makes me think it doesn't really make sense. So if I have 0 strength, but I'm still good on agility, like how can I still use a bow? Doesn't really make sense to me. Also, what else did I want to mention? Yeah, this is just a work in progress. I love the layout. I love the base concept. It's just, how can I minimize this? Let's just take a stab in the dark. Let's go back to here and okay, this one, drifts. I want one that says it's like an actual system. Roll for things, detour. All right, what's this? I can already tell I like it. All right, download now. Detour RPG. Oh, all right. He's got a lot of words here. There's a lot of words. Gameplay. Turns pass around the table. You are always free to add extra details to the world. On your turn, choose one of the 3 actions for your trucker to complete. Do a job, hang around, confront a roadblock. Okay, well, this makes me feel good. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Okay, let's pick another just random stab at the dark. I have no idea. Liches Get Stitches, a one-shot RPG for 4 necromancers and the God of Death. Okay, I don't want an adventure. Though I could write an adventure. That would be fun, actually. I could have that done in 3 seconds with ChatGPT. Let's see. I said randomly, but I want to find one that's like, in the same vein that I. Okay, one page RPG, Talking to Dragons. Here we go. An Earthsea inspired. I don't know what Earthsea is, but let's go check this out. One page, download. No thanks. Take me to the downloads. Download. Slow internet takes a while. What do we got here? Ooh, a little hard to read. Okay, all right. Hey, this is in the line of what I'm at for, kind of wordy. Love the character sheet. Body, reason, heart. Uses step dice. Damage. Every success causes a -1 to a stat. Bro, that's what I'm doing. Well, every miss would be. When the stat reaches 0, you're dying. Use a small weapon. Using a small weapon increases damage by 1. Using a large weapon increases damage by 2. Oh, okay. You know what? This is making me feel better. The font is a little difficult to read. But, what am I to say? What am I working with here? Okay. You know what? That kind of like reinvigorates me to, all right, I can put something together here. I can figure this out. And I have until, I believe, the end of August. I have 21 days to do this. So with my upload schedule, I might maybe bump this because I've got quite a few already pre-recorded, like 4 episodes or something. But yeah, okay. I will circle back to this in an episode, but I am going to work on that. Before I wrap it up, here's stamina. This one was titled stamina, but here's my second idea. Here's another thing I was working on. And again, how much is too much? But I love Magic the Gathering. I love playing Magic, and I kind of wanted to make a solo map making, journaling, and combat game. And so maybe me talking this out loud will help, but I'll read the setup here and then I'll kind of walk you through how this would play. And maybe saying it out loud makes me think that that's a terrible idea, or maybe I should pursue this as well. All right, let me get a little drink here first. Okay. Setup. An understanding of how to play Magic the Gathering is beneficial, but not required. Create 8 stacks of Magic the Gathering cards. It is recommended each stack be a minimum of 20 cards, but the more cards, the more randomness that can result. Create a stack of lands. Any type of land, including multicolored, is fine. Create a stack of creatures, planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts, battles, which, if you're new to Magic, that's in the last year or two. This new card type called battles, and instant and sorceries. You can have only 1 copy of a legendary creature and planeswalker, but other than that, you may have as many duplicates as you would like per stack. A maximum of 3 is recommended, but hey, it's your world. Random cards can be fun, or pre-planned cards can set a more consistent tone for your world. Okay, so you have all these different types of cards. Because it's map making, we're going to start with land when we draw. But before then, we got to figure out who are we, who's our adventurer. And so I have select any common or uncommon creature. This is your adventurer. If you know anything about Magic, there's common, uncommon, rare, and mythic. When you get to rare and mythic, they are usually more powerful, higher stats, more abilities, etc. And somewhere in here, I say, hey, you can play it at whatever skill level you want, but you should start low and then you'll work your way up. And we'll talk about how the artifacts and enchantments can be beneficial here. Okay, so this is subject to change, but I have here set your starting life total to 20. All right. In regular Magic, you start with 20. And I was going to name this like Magic and Artificial Intelligence. I was going to have an AI be your oracle of sorts, but I think I'm going to drop that. I think that's just AI is a hot button topic right now, so we're gonna get rid of that. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a hex map. Well, back up. I want all the rules on one page and then your like playing space on another page. I know it says 1-page RPG, but think of it as like rules and then character sheet. So on the character sheet, I want there to be a hex map with 20 hexes, and that will decide where you start. Okay. Step 1, draw a land card from the pile. The starting hex is deemed wilderness of the type of land drawn. So in Magic, there are plains, island, swamp, forest, and mountain. Okay. You draw one land, and let's say it's a forest. Okay. That hex is labeled wilderness. You're going to draw another land card. If it shares another color, then that wilderness upgrades to a small hamlet. You have discovered a small hamlet in the hex. If you draw again and come up with another land that has the same color, there are multiple towns and trade and commerce is happening between these towns. If you draw a fourth land that has that shares a color with the first one that you drew, you are at a full-blown kingdom in that hex. I misspoke, or I forgot to mention, for every card that you draw that matches, it grows out another hex. So a kingdom, a full kingdom, would it be 4 hexes large? Okay, so that sort of sets up, the random table that you're going to draw on. Are you going to draw a wilderness? Are you going to, are you going to roll on the wilderness random table, the small hamlet random table, larger towns, or full kingdoms? And if I scroll down here, I kind of have these just I wouldn't even say these are 2% complete. But based on, let's say you were on wilderness. All right. If it's only a plains wilderness, then while you're there, you get to explore and you find an artifact. If it's only one island, it's wilderness, you study the land and you learn an instant. If it's only a swamp, you learn a sorcery. Mountain, I'm not sure. I got to figure this all out. Okay. If you're at a hamlet, if you stopped at a hamlet, then more things will happen. Maybe multiple artifacts, multiple creatures, etc. But after you have figured out whether it's wilderness, hamlet, towns, or a kingdom, you are then going to draw, what do I have here? Draw a creature for every land drawn. Okay. Again, fighting with how much is too much. For those that know Magic, do I really want to have like a chart? Think of like Ravnica. Do I really want to have like guilds where like the color pairings, where white and black, blue and red, they don't get along, white and green do get along? Or is it just white likes white, green likes green? And then if it's not your matching color, then it's deemed as a threat. How much do I really want to do? I probably, just to keep it simple, will be if you draw a creature that matches the color of your adventurer, then they are an automatic ally. If it's not, then it's something else. Or I'll make like an optional note. This is probably what I'll do. That says you can just roll a D6, D20, whatever. And then somewhere I have on here, it can be 50-50 chance, even or odds, or like, make up some other random system that you would want. Maybe get step dice involved and say like white, in order to be an ally with white or black and white, if your adventurer is white and you draw a black creature card, like you have to roll a D20 under 5, let's say under 3. And then if you're a white creature and you draw a white creature, you roll a D4. Yeah, okay, all right. Hey, talked it out. Here's a system I might move forward with. Okay. So you roll a creature, and then you can decide to have combat or not with them. And combat would play off like Magic the Gathering. I don't know who would go first. It'd be some initiative system here. But your adventurer would then battle the creatures that you drew, or your adventurer plus any allies you make battle creatures that you drew. And again, the more cards that you draw, you could be battling up to 4 creatures, one of them being a legendary creature and one of them being a planeswalker. And kind of how I've got it set up, let's pull up a real basic, let's go one of my favorite cards, Serra Angel. I think Serra Angel, well, this one art shows me that's an uncommon, so come on, give me the OG one. This turned little Heath into a man when he was a kid. $724 for a alpha edition. Okay, so here's my adventurer, let's say. It has flying and vigilance. Okay, so let's say on my combat, I go first, and I fight just a random card, because I'm going black and white here, a pack rat. Open image, new tab. Okay, so pack rat's power and toughness are equal to the number of rats you control. So I just randomly drew this, but I'm really liking this because you can be random in your deck selection for creatures, or if you did all pack rats, then let's say you drew 2 rats. Okay, well, my Serra Angel can attack one of the rats. In actual Magic the Gathering, you can't assign creatures to attack creatures. It's the 2 players that you try to like break through to, and the creatures are just like blocking forces. But in my game, you attack the creatures, and when you kill all the creatures, then the combat would be over. And then if your adventurer dies, then damage would carry over to you. If you remember, I said you start with 20 health. And then eventually, when you get to 0 health, then you're done exploring the map. You're done with that. You may start with an adventurer, but if you make an ally and your starting adventurer dies, you can then play as your ally and or all allies. You can start getting a whole party of allies. And so again, I like my dice mechanic system of if you roll under a certain number, because you could team up with lots of different people. Sorry, my brain is just, ADD going on right now. So let's go back to my original kind of like vision here. So I know lots of ums. It's really great listening content. Okay, yeah, so there's an issue with like multicolored. So how does that work? Again, how deep do I want to get? I kind of say, like, if it shares a color, then you can treat it as an ally. There's some part of them that wants to inherently ally itself with you. Um, somewhere in my list of tips here, you can play a character that is 3 colors, 4 colors, and then that's going to make your life easier as the adventurer, more potential allies. Or you can play a singleton color. You can put multicolored lands in your land deck, etc. It's you get to kind of like self-articulate, or self-regulate is probably the word, how difficult you want the game to be. Just scattershotting back to here. So while you're adventuring, you are probably going to run into more wilderness than you are the towns and the kingdoms. And so this is where you start to build up your repertoire of stuff. So you could gain artifacts, you can gain instances and sorceries, and then those are the things that you use during your combat. You can also attempt to use them in a role play situation. That's something I'm trying to figure out. So if you come to a kingdom and you I'm so great at saying ums, aren't I? And you roll a planeswalker, and it can be as simple as, sure, you roll on the ally chart and, oh, they're an enemy, so now I have to fight. But maybe I have to put some wiggle room in here that says, like, oh my god, I'm coming up with this real time and I love it. Like, okay, you can cast a sorcery because you're technically not in combat at that point, and you can use the sorcery to re-roll or re-flavor talks and communications, and you can like re-roll and try to get another attempt at allying this person, regardless of what the sorcery says. Like maybe if it actually says, like, an ally of yours gets +2/+2, or target creature you control gets +2/+2, you could in flavor say, hey, I'll give this to you, potential ally, and then re-roll. Or if it's a sorcery that says, like, destroy target creature, okay, well, you're not going to destroy a potential ally, but you can say, I give you this power, I grant you this power, I grant you this gift that you can use. And then maybe that allows for a reroll. But if, let's say, your enemy is black and you're white, then, and you're offering them a white sorcery, there should be some penalty to that. They don't necessarily align with that. So random, just word vomiting out ideas here, but that's kind of my second idea that I have here. This Magic the Gathering map making, exploration, combat, and potential journaling. I could say, like, after each day, journal about how you thought the day went. I made an ally, my party grew, or, like, it could be like a third person looking in, say my starter adventurer Timmy died, and now Jimmy takes on the mission, something like that. And so these are my 2 ideas for my itch.io one-page RPG. I could go on and on. It's just word vomit at this point. But I agree with this statement wholeheartedly. I'm going to come back to it. Restriction breeds creativity. I wholeheartedly agree. And, they may not be perfect, but just as I'm going to say it right now. August 3rd, 8 p.m. I'm going to say it. Perfect or not, I will submit both of these ideas for this jam in 21 days, 21 hours, 57 minutes, and 53 seconds. Even if I'm not completely happy with them, I will submit them and then tweak as I go. But just to say that I was a part of it, and as Pat McAfee would say, it's for the brand. If I can roll around and find out there and somebody likes it and they go and check out my drive-through RPG, they come and check out this podcast, we do a collab, who knows what, then it was totally worth doing. So, all right. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. Hopefully you got something out of it. Keep being creative. We'll see you in the next episode. Later.